I'm so happy it's hard. It has Okarun's leg on top of her. I'm so glad that it's hard. And there you have it. The most controversial scene of dandadan has finally been adapted. It has finally been adapted. All the people can start whining for the rest of the week about how horrible Japan is because they adapted the scene of Okarun and Ayase being caught in the middle of the hallway and having to run away stark naked. I don't know. I finally seen it again the other day. Somebody was retweeting somebody else that was acting like they were offended by that whole entire scene in the manga and how horrible Japan is, while at the same time in their background they have the entire Naruto manga set. It's like, people, just stop. Just stop. I know you need engagement, but please just stop. But no, it was a fun episode. I will admit episode 9 is easily the roughest episode of this series, which is not really saying much because the entire series has been absolutely phenomenal, like amazing, 10 out of 10 animation and style. But yeah, 9 was rough. Let's admit that 9 was rough. We had a lot of reused animations. That whole shot with Shiratori and Okarun rushing towards the camera. They used it twice. There was barely any shots of Nessie, even though in the manga it shows Nessie quite a bit before they do the whole like combining thing. And the most unfortunate thing is just a lot of shots of characters with just like holding on a shot while you hear stuff is happening. It obviously shows that they kind of messed up a little bit. They kind of missed certain cuts. There's a lot of in-betweens they're missing there. But again, like I said before, it's still an incredible episode. Like, it was still an incredibly fun episode, despite the fact that it has those kind of downsides to it. So I think the main obvious like star of this episode is really around seeing that chemistry with Shiratori now part of the picture and just them being dysfunctional as ever. And yes, as per usual, Ayase having to save everybody's butts. Like, Ayase just carries the entire thing. Like, I'm still, again, waiting for that. But again, seeing Okarun being honest with Ayase about his lack of, helping out. I loved hearing his frustration in this episode when it comes to that point where he's like, I'll distract him while you go get Shiratori. And she's like, no, that's stupid. You're going to cause a problem. It's kind of that balance between the two of them where it feels like almost Ayase is frustrated with Okarun because he's going to put himself in danger. And she doesn't want him to be put in danger, but she doesn't want to admit that she doesn't want him to get in danger. At the same time, you have Okarun's like, dude, I'm tired of not helping. You're basically doing everything. I want to help out some way. Let me do this one thing. And there's that little bickering back and forth that I really, really love. Now, yes, you can argue you probably shouldn't do it while this crazy boxing monster is trying to punch you, but that's their chemistry. That's their chemistry. They always figure everything out in the middle of battle. Like, they never figure any of this out outside of battle. They have to figure it during battle, which is really great. So, yeah, I really love seeing Shiratori, seeing acrobatic Silky in action. Really fantastic. Again, despite the fact that a lot of the cuts were cut, I think most of the really good animation in this episode was really Shiratori. Like, there was a couple of really great shots of her, like just their really drop kicking, running across the wall. All that stuff was really fantastic. I'd imagine because it's her first time using her ability, she's gonna be a little sloppy. She's gonna be a little sloppy. I was kind of curious if she's gonna have a lot of acrobatic Silky in her personality. It seems like there's like a little bit of a bleed in there, but for the most part, she is herself. Now, there is seemingly like a personality there, similar to Okarun. Whenever Okarun uses his ability, it seems like he has a little bit of Turbo Granny in him. And yes, it gets in that whole like depression stuff. And yes, apparently we find out in this episode, Turbo Granny can't swim. I don't know if they're implying that Turbo Granny herself couldn't swim, so thus he can't swim when he is in that turbo mode, or if it's implying that he just, when he's in that mode, it's hard to swim, so he can't. I think it's implying the idea, like, he literally says Turbo Granny can't swim. It's like, I can see that. I mean, this old lady probably never had to go swimming, and so she's like, I don't know how to swim. I thought that was kind of funny. But again, seeing that personality within them when they're transformed is a great thing, and it seems like, again, Shiratori, similar case there. It seems like she does have a little bit of personality there, but she's still keeping to her, like, high and mightiness, like, talking about how, like, oh, you must be in love with me. I'll give you plenty of chances. The entire time he's like, she's just like talking herself up about how great she is and how she's, yes, dead set on Okarun. It's good stuff. But yes, when finally Ayase shows up, I thought that was really fantastic. Again, we're getting in that chemistry. Shiratori doesn't know about how you can't say his name, so she quickly drops him. Just, oh yeah, I'm not gonna let you have kin, and all of a sudden go bonk. Are you guys wanting to die? Okay, we're good. All right, good. There's the whole ballerina thing. Are you jealous? Oh, I'm sorry. You're really smooth or something like that. So it just drops him again. It's funny stuff because it's like, again, life or death situation. You constantly have them like fumbling over themselves. But no, it was funny because like I talked about this last episode where you had when Ayase first showed up there. She was complaining about the fact that she thought of Okarun first. And I like how, like, again, later on in that episode, immediately she thinks about Okarun again after the Nessie, like, blasts everything. Like, the first thing that comes to her mind is Okarun. It's kind of a sign there again. And in this episode, you have the same thing happen when she first shows up. What does she say? She says what's been on her mind that entire time. Stop making out with that baby. Like, she couldn't say it earlier. She was too embarrassed to say that she was upset about that. She kept running away from Okarun. He's, like, trying to stop her. And then right here, the first thing that she says when she first runs into them is stop making out with her. Like, she finally gets honest with herself. It's so freaking great. But no, there was another aspect that came to light when they were bickering. And that is Okarun basically pushing her to be honest with her feelings. In this moment where she's trying to, she's being frustrated, he's like, what's wrong with you? There's obviously something wrong. Please be honest with me. It brings up the aspect that, yes, she came across the two of them, him on top of her, and she wants answers on that, but she doesn't want to say anything. And here he's like, I want to be honest with you. What is the misunderstanding? I love this. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I don't care if they get the wrong impression. And again, that makes sense. Again, he kind of established that when we first had him go back to class after that first night. He comes in there and he's like, I don't care if everybody's being mean to me and bullying me. I have a friend now. That's all I care about. He's like, I'll just think about her. I have this new friend. He was just so happy to have a friend. And again, it keeps showing that and compounding that importance to Okarun that he doesn't want to lose her. This is this one thing I have. I don't care about anything else. So in this moment, he's like, I don't care if the entire class walked by and see me on top of Shiratori. I don't care if they think that we were making out. I don't want you to have the wrong impression. That's the only thing he cares about. I want you to know what the truth is. Please tell me what's wrong so I can fix that. I love it. Again, it's like that jab in the gut that they keep establishing about how important Ayase is to Okarun because he's never had friends. This is a guy that's been always lonely his entire life. Obviously, Ayase is important to him. It's super good. But no, we established a couple things with the Serpos in this episode. I was kind of curious if the Nessie was going to end up being a part of their group. Apparently he is. So it seems like, again, we're kind of establishing that at least with the aliens, a lot of things that are physical, that are often kind of labeled as supernatural, like, again, the Nessie, are going to be things that are probably alien. And in this case, yes, the Serpos apparently hired Nessie and brought him there. He's super powerful, but he blasts everything. He's super useless. The punching businessman guy. Yeah, super useful, but kind of useless as well. It seems like everything is Serpos hiring them so that they can take their bananas. And apparently, yes, we've established now that Shiratori possibly has a banana too. Banana organs. We've seen a couple powers. One, the fact that the Serpos apparently can inject them with their thing down there. It just takes his thing out and just freaking injects the guy in his head. That's not inappropriate looking at all. Able to make them transform, make them stronger or something, giving them their own juice or something. I don't know. And additionally, yes, they can somehow combine themselves and make a big, massive punching bag crab Nessie thing. I don't know. It was weird. But yeah, they save Shiratori and yes, reveal all. It's like just stripped completely down and riding on top of Okarun, turning him into like a ballistic missile that they could ride on top of as they just kind of boat around and attack this thing. It was bizarre. And then once again, Ayase bringing up her classes in order to figure out how to beat the bad guy. And again, popping up in the middle of the hallway. I'm kind of curious if they're going to play this out. Because, yes, that's I love the fact that when they first show up in the hallway, they're super happy that they got out of the void. And so the thing they bring up is how hard the hallway is. Oh, yeah, this hard floor is just, it's so hard. It's like, I'm so happy it's hard. As Okarun's leg on top of her. I'm so glad that it's hard. Oh my gosh, that was so wrong. And I'm kind of curious if anybody in that area heard that. Because, yes, that's not going to turn out very well. I am curious if they're going to leave it at that. There's a thought process that makes me wonder if what's going to happen is, yes, they run away, obviously. I love how freaking Shiratori just pops up out of nowhere in like a ballerina jump. So dorky. Everybody knows who it is. They're all calling out their names, so they've been exposed at this point. They're talking about how Okarun is just making out with Ayase butt naked in the hallway, and that's extremely embarrassing. So I'm wondering if they'll stick with it. Like, yeah, just something happened. I mean, or is it going to be a thing where, I don't know, maybe grandma can use some ability to wipe everybody's memories? Like, they're going to have to do it quick. Otherwise, man, that gossip's going to spread quick. So I'm I'm curious how they're going to play that out because, again, all three of them have been absolutely exposed to the entire school, and that's going to be devastating to their like reputation and everything. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Anyhow, fun episode. Like I said, besides the lack of animation and a lot of cuts elsewhere without in-betweens and everything, it was still an incredible episode. I mean, compared to literally anything else that's airing currently, it's still like the top of the charts. I mean, besides ReZero, but ReZero's taking a break. It's absolutely incredible. I really love the episode. Just super fun. The characters are freaking great as always, and I'm looking forward to more as always. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below. Until next time, y'all take care.